Madam Clerk?
Yes, Mayor. Board of Commissioners public meeting Tuesday, April 19, 2016. The time is 7:41. Pursuant to the requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975. Notice of this meeting was published in the December 24, 2015 issue of the Nutley Sun, the Star Ledger, and the Herald News. A copy of this notice has been posted on the Nutley Town Hall Bulletin Board, and a copy is on file in the Municipal Clerk's office. Commissioner Rogers? Commissioner Tucci? Commissioner Evans?
Here.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Here.
Mayor Petracco?
Here.
All present, Mayor.
I see we have minutes.
No minutes this evening, Mayor.
Communications correspondence, please.
The Historic Preservation Trust of Nutley has submitted a social affair permit to hold a speakeasy party fundraiser at 3 Kingsland Street on Saturday, June 4, 2016, from 7 to 10 p.m. I need a motion.
Move it. Second.
Commissioner Rogers? Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye.
Maureen Jarrett of Jarrett Stuffed Cupcakes has submitted an event application to take part in the Spring Festival on Friday, April 29, 2016, from 6 to 10 p.m.
Move it.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye.
Niral Amin of Krishan has submitted an event application to take part in the Spring Festival on Friday, April 29th, 2016, from 6 to 10 p.m. I need a motion.
Move it.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye.
And the Nutley Belleville Columbus Day and Italian Heritage Month Parade Committee is asking for permission to hold their 34th annual Columbus Day Parade on Sunday, October 9, 2016.
Move it. Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye.
And that's it for communications, Mayor.
Okay, then we're going to move on to presentations tonight. The first presentation we have is for the Nutley Police Department for Accreditation Award. I see that our chief is here somewhere. Where did he go? Chief? He's running a little late? Okay. Then we'll move on to our proclamations. This year, we have our lead officer of the month, Stephen Rogers. Is Stephen here? Stephen, there you are. I don't recognize you out of uniform. But this is a brief summary of what the LEAD program is. We were able to get police officers back in the school. I don't want to compare it to DARE, the old DARE program, but it is, I guess it is something like that. Chief, you want to give a little brief statement about exactly what we're doing with the LEAD program?
The LEAD program is, again, like the mayor stated, getting the officers back into the school system, interacting with the children on a positive note, getting them to know the officers, also teaching a curriculum that will discourage, future drug abuse, teaching them to be leaders, teaching them to go in the right direction as they're maturing through the school system. And I can't tell you enough how receptive the program is. We're getting nothing but compliments, whether from the school district, from parents walking up to me saying it's truly a great program. And for a little while there, we DARE ended. We weren't involved too much in the elementary schools, but now this program has allowed us to get back in and do the interaction that's important, and it's working out well. And Steve Rogers and the other officers that volunteered to become lead instructors have been tremendous, and I have to give them credit because they've really taken it to the next level, and they really truly are going in and caring to work with the kids and become leaders and figures for them to look up to. So I congratulate him on his award, and hopefully the program will continue to move forward, and it's an asset to the department and also good for the children in the community.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, thank you again, Chief. We have a proclamation that I'll read. I'll read this in conjunction with my good friend, Commissioner Rogers, being his son that's receiving the award. Whereas Stephen Rogers II grew up in Nutley, going through the school system and graduating from Nutley High School in 2001. And whereas after graduation, Steve enlisted in the United States Marine Corps and an infantry serving in various regions throughout the world, including Operations Iraq Freedom, during which time he was promoted to the rank of sergeant. And whereas while serving in active duty, Steve received several medals and commendations before being honorably discharged in 2005. And whereas in a desire to continue to serve his country, Steve joined the Nutley Police Department following his discharge. And whereas during his tenure in the Nutley Police Department, Steve became actively involved in the township concerns, most specifically as an active member of the Nutley AMVETS. And whereas most recent, Steve became a lead officer, law enforcement against drugs, and demonstrated his give-back spirit in guiding children in the same elementary school he attended as a child. And now, therefore, it be resolved by the Board of Commissioners, Township of Nutley, County of Essex, State of New Jersey, that Stephen Rogers II, police officer in the Nutley Police Department, be recognized and congratulated on his recent distinction as the lead officer of the month in March, and for also demonstrating the importance of being a positive, inspirational force among the youth in our community. Congratulations, Steve. Would you like to come up? Steve, please come to the podium, Steve. Before we give you a chance, excuse me, before we give you a chance to speak, I'd just like to give my fellow commissioners a chance to speak also. But it's, a little funny story between Steve the Second. I guess it's not Junior, it's Steve the Second.
I'm the second. No, make sure there's no confusion, right?
Steve, be nice to your dad. But
He gets my bank statements and everything, you know?
But at any rate, when I first came to public safety and I first met Steve, and I was a little up in the air about how our relationship was going to go. And I have to tell you, and I say this story often, the speech that you gave, that Memorial Day service, really, I know, touched me, and you especially won over the heart of my mom. I looked to my left after you got done speaking of what your life was in the military like, that people take for granted, how you escorted kids to school with a machine gun. I looked to my left and I saw my mother sobbing, and I thought she was coming up to me to give me a hug and a kiss, and she wound up running up to Steve the Second. So you do remember that, right, Steve?
I remember that.
Yeah. So I can't thank you enough for serving your country, and I sure can't thank you enough for volunteering for this LEAD program. You're a unique individual. I have a lot of respect and regard for you, of what you did for this country and what you do for the Nutley Police Department. So thank you. Commissioner Scarpelli?
Stephen, thank you for your service to our country, your service to your town, service to the Board of Education and our kids. I know the mayor's, along with his HOPE program, we had another young person pass away this week. So this kind of educational process is much needed for our young people. So thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you to the mayor.
Certainly, as a father, I'm proud of you. Now they can start calling you Captain America. The chief alluded to something very important, and you have, Mayor, all along. This LEAD program, in my 38 years in law enforcement, thereafter, I have never heard of such a good, solid program. Community, well-run, well-operated. So I certainly congratulate you, Stephen, on the job you're doing. I've heard from teachers, Chief. I've heard from parents. I've heard from a heck of a lot of people. Men in uniform behind you are the greatest cops in the world. I know, Mayor, you've said that to me a million times. You've got the greatest police department in the world there. So you're with a good crew. You're certainly following Dad's footsteps. You know what he wants to do next, fellas? He wants to get a German Shepherd. But I thank you for the service to your country. Mayor, thank you for your kind words and for having this LEAD program. And I'll close by saying, Semper Fi, hoorah.
Hoorah! Where's Joe?
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Evans?
Steve, I apologize for my voice, but first let me say it's always a special day when a parent, especially a father, can be present when their child is being honored. So I want to congratulate you on that, and Steve, I congratulate you as well. It's always a special day. It's also special when that activity that you're being honored for is something that is so highly treasured and so valuable in this day and age. Drug abuse is an epidemic. It's easy for children to get sidetracked. All of your efforts in this, I applaud you for that, that you give your time and your willingness to try and help those children. I understand you serve our country, and I appreciate that as well. So congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Tucci.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Well, it's obvious that the apple didn't fall far from the tree. I want to thank you for your service to our country. I want to thank you for everything you do for our children. I know your father and your wife and your children, entire family are very proud of you and what you've accomplished in this short period of time. And I just want you to know that you make us very proud sitting up here, seeing that we have police officers with dedication and commitment such as yours that is really moving our town forward. So thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you, sir.
Stephen, now this is your big moment. You have the spotlight. Would you like to say a few words?
I just, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to thank you, Trumbull, and where's Detective Sergeant Padilla, for giving me the opportunity to actually take part in this program. Back when I became a police officer, I saw what my dad did when I was a little kid, back at Lincoln School, where the cops were in the schools, and that's not why I became a cop, to be involved in the community, to be a good role model, and to be involved in kids' lives. And I'm so happy that because of your direction, sir, because of the chief, all the efforts that Sergeant Padilla is doing, that we're actually being able to go back into school and then take part. And that's the greatest thing. I mean, I don't know if we have any teachers here, but kudos to all the teachers. My hardest day of work is the lead day. My wife will know. I come home after we do our classes. I'll go home and I just crash. By 8 o'clock, I'm in bed sleeping. I took my leave, and the next day I'm popping the vitamin C because I'm like, my body is totally drained. It's really hard work, but what makes it is the teachers. The teachers are able to provide an atmosphere in which the police officers could go in and we could actually speak to the kids. So if there is any teachers here who have ever been in teaching before, thank you so much for allowing us to in the schools and to build a relationship with the children, because police right now have a bad perception, and it takes us being within the community, doing more than just writing tickets, but saying hello and reaching out to people. That's what changes our perception. So I thank you, Mr. Mayor, for this opportunity, all the commissioners, every teacher, and my superiors behind me. Thank you so much.
Okay, while we are on presentations, our next presentation is actually going to be Steve Rogers Sr., our commissioner here, and it's a Veterans Award, and I'm going to ask Mr. Jack Kane to come up here and give a little synopsis of what we're doing.
Good evening, Commissioners, Mayor, Steve Rogers especially. We're here to honor him, Veteran of the Year for 2015. 2016 now, but that's how hard it is to nail him down, to make him stand still long enough. So we had to come here where he has to be here. So we're going to honor him for being Veteran of the Year because after being elected commissioner, he started the Department of Military and Veterans Affairs here in the town, and he's got notoriety throughout the state. All the municipalities, they're asking about this program, and we're proud of it because sees to it that the veterans in this town get the help they need, gets them to the VA hospitals for appointments. It's very difficult to get a cab or a county bus to get them there for their appointment and pick them up and get them home at the same. Scheduling is very difficult, so he has people picking these. So it's a great program. The veterans come in the door all the time looking for help, and got two guys here, veteran service officers, Johnson and Dan Jacoby. They're certified veteran service officers. They got it on the computer, all the information they need through a system, guys in the help they need. After all his military service, many years, retired lieutenant, now he's commissioner of this program. So we're very pleased that he's of the year for Nutley, and we're presenting this huge plaque.
I have it. I have it back here.
Oh,
Yep. So, thank you, Mr. Kane. I just, before we bring Commissioner Rogers up, I'd like to, you okay? Okay, I'd just like to comment. You know, Steve, over the last 4 years, and before that, I've been able to, please stay up there, Jack, please, yeah. No, I just wanted to comment. You know, we've been very fortunate to really get to know each other. And the thing that Commissioner Rogers have done with the veterans is really unbelievable in my eyes. And the thing that you've been able to do, Steve, if I may, been able to put a smile on their faces. And I have to tell you, these young kids coming back from these wars without limbs and, you know, mental inabilities, make somebody like that smile, or somebody that served, as my father did, that you gave a medal to him. To see those elderly people smile like that, I have to tell you, I'm really, really proud to call you my friend. Really a job well done. Commissioner Scarpelli?
Commissioner, great job. You know, this is a model program throughout the state, and I hope other towns take the baton from you. Serve all veterans throughout the state, not just. Congratulations.
Thank you. Commissioner Evans?
Steve, I'll just I'll play on your words. This is another great thing about Nutley. Right? We have a program, we have leadership in a program. We're fortunate is that we all sit here as a team to lead the way for the town, and that leadership comes at many levels. So the engagement that you have, the passion that you have, benefits all of us, and as a result, we all rise from it. So congratulations.
Commissioner Tucci?
Yes, I'll be brief. Steve, first of all, I'm very proud and honored to serve with you up here. What you've done for our veterans is second to none. Most importantly, I think that understand is that you've given our veterans that didn't get the recognition that they deserve, that recognition. You've raised the bar as far as how we need to treat veterans and how veterans need to be treated, not only in Nutley in the state of New Jersey, but throughout the entire country. So I'm very proud of what you've done. I'm very proud to support all of your efforts, and just keep on going because our veterans need people like you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Commissioner, would you like us to say a few words?
You know, there's a lot of praise being thrown upon me, but here's the truth. The truth is that in June of 2012, this governing body, they took a bit of a chance. They took a bit of a risk because never in the history of this state had a local municipality taken a step forward, create the first Military and Veterans Affairs Bureau on a local government level. Nobody in the state has done this. In fact, it was so talked about, if you gentlemen remember, Fox News actually came, and they did an investigative report, and they talked to the veterans. And they found out that, you know what this governing body did is working. It was this governing body, not just me, that took that step forward. So it is I who owe you a thanks. Secondly, there was another part of this team. It was a team led by men like Jack Kane, men like Herb, who's sitting there quietly, working very hard with our veterans, the VFW, the American Legion, the AMVETS. We had a difficult task. We had to go out and find the veterans. Any veteran will tell you, especially those World War II guys, you know what the answer is, and Mayor, I've talked to you a lot about it. Even your own dad you faced this with. They don't want medals. They don't want recognition. Their answer is, I serve my country, period. So it was tough getting these gentlemen and these ladies together. But as a team, we were able to do that. And then God really blessed me with two fine veterans who we were able to bring into the township as employees, veteran service officers, and I introduced them tonight. I introduced Courtney Johnson, Iraq War vet, Gunny Sergeant, U.S. Marines. He's done a great job. I introduced Dan Jacoby, quietly sitting back there. United States Army, Iraq War vet, and has one motto every day: my veterans are going to be taken care of. Thank you, Dan, and God bless you for your work. And then finally, I say this. I cannot say enough good about our police department and our fire department. How many times did I make a call to you, say we got a vet in need? You were there. The Parks and Recreation Department, same thing. Commissioner Scarpelli, same thing, and Commissioner Evans, the same thing. So it isn't a one-man or one-department effort. It is an effort on behalf of all of our departments. Then the final thing, I'll say this. Nutley, New Jersey, I've said this all over the country, a model for this country because I don't know of anywhere I've ever seen so many people volunteer to do the great things we're doing in town. There are so many organizations where people are taking a step forward, whether you're a young person or an elderly citizen, or a civilian who's never served. You know, I hear people say, gee, I never served, can I help? Well, you have served. You served here at home when the troops are overseas. But it's truly a team effort. It's a community effort. I thank you. And you know what? I'm going to stand up and salute you. Thank you. God bless.
Okay, I just got word that we are going to do our Nutley Police Department presentation with the accreditation. Just before we bring them up, Chief, I just like to talk about the commitment from the Nutley Police Department what went into this accreditation. It is an unbelievable amount of work. It's the take charge leadership that starts at the top with our chief. It filters down. I know we have people here that are going to talk about what was done, but I have to tell you, it is really something that has put our police department in the forefront. And every time we have the auditors come in that do the accreditation, it's really nice to hear that Nutley is way ahead of the curve with our technology and everything else that the police department brings. So at this time, Chief, would you like to bring them up?
I'd like to introduce Mr. Harry Delgado. He's from the New Jersey State Chiefs of Police Association. He's the state accreditation manager for the association that oversees all the accreditation process throughout the state. So, Harry.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. I certainly appreciate the privilege of presenting to you or recognizing your police department as not only one of the best in the state of New Jersey, but one of the best in the nation. I do have proof. I'd like to offer that. And to add context to what I'm about to present your police department with tonight, I should say that there's over 470 law enforcement agencies in the state of New Jersey that would be eligible to apply for accreditation. Only 152 are accredited to date or have gone through the process of accreditation. That says a lot because that means that it's a very rigorous process. Not maintaining the process after initial accreditation becomes even more difficult. That's where the Nutley Police Department actually falls into. So out of those 152, a little bit more than a third actually have completed a reaccreditation cycle because it is that difficult. So if you indulge me for a couple of minutes, I'd like to share with you the significance of the achievement. Accreditation is a process. Certainly it is here in Nutley. The foundation of accreditation lies in the adoption of standards containing a clear statement of professional objectives. Accreditation is a progressive and time-proven way of helping law enforcement agencies calculate and improve their overall performances. It is a certification by an independent reviewing authority, in this case, the New Jersey State Association of Chiefs of Police, that the accredited agency was carefully measured against an established set of state and national standards and has met, and in the case of the Nutley Police Department, in many instances, exceeded accepted practices in the field of law enforcement. Accreditation agencies are better able to defend against lawsuits and citizen complaints. Accreditation provides objective evidence of an agency's commitment to excellence in leadership, resource management, and service delivery. Government officials can be more confident in the agency's ability to operate efficiently and meet community needs. Because accreditation embodies the precepts of community-oriented policing, it creates a forum in which police and citizens work together to prevent and control challenges confronting law enforcement, and provides clear direction about community expectations. Accreditation standards give the chief a proven management system of written directives, sound training, and clearly defined lines of authority, and routine reports that support decision-making and resource allocation. In effect, it improves the efficiency of your police department, and it also enhances the delivery of police services. So I consider even more important the fact that every officer in the Nutley Police Department can take credit and be proud that they have been objectively recognized for their professionalism and adherence to the highest standards. Not only do we make the process difficult by design, because it means something, it should be difficult to achieve, but after on the average 18 months, in this case 3 years of accreditation, we have a final on-site where we come and actually you have to show the proof to the 105 standards. And I'll paraphrase exemplary performance from the Nutley Police Department right out of the assessor's report. The Nutley Police Department joined an elite group of law enforcement agencies that have achieved reaccreditation because only a third of those that have achieved accreditation actually have come twice, and that is the Nutley Police Department. Accreditation is very difficult to maintain. It must be supported by leadership. That leadership is that of the chief, his command staff, and the local government that supports it. That is the process, and in the Nutley Police Department is embedded in their culture, is the way they deliver police services each and every day. The Nutley Police Department is a highly professional and committed agency which exemplifies all of the tenets of law enforcement accreditation. So there's reason for all of us to be proud. So therefore, the New Jersey State Association of Chiefs of Police and New Jersey Law Enforcement Commission congratulate Chiefs Thomas Strumolo. I practiced that all evening. I know I forgot.
Strumolo. Let me
Strumolo.
help you.
My apologies, Chief. Accreditation Manager, I know him very well, Lieutenant Ken Watson, the staff of the Nutley Police Department, the commissioners, and those citizens that they so proudly serve for achieving reaccreditation, joining a very exclusive group of law enforcement agencies that have made this important commitment to excellence in policing. Congratulations to you.
Thank you so much. Chief, before you guys leave, I just want to thank you guys for coming, and I want to congratulate everyone that participated in the accreditation process. Being there, I have to say, and I know there's a lot of people that help that aren't here tonight, so I want to congratulate them and thank them for their hard work. You know, 8 years ago when I first got elected, Chief Holling came to me and said to me that, you know, we really want to go forward with the accreditation. And I'm like, okay, what's accreditation and how much does it cost, of course? And what he told me back then, most court cases, the first thing out of judges' mouths are you accredited? And if not, why not? So that's how important it is. And I know the painstaking work to the details of how hard it is to get that done. So congratulations to everyone. It's been truly a team effort to get that job done. Chief?
Thank you. I'd just like to thank Mr. Harry Delgado from the New Jersey State Chiefs of Police for coming out and for his support throughout the entire process. He guided us along and is very supportive. I'm very proud of our department and all the work that went into achieving this status. It is, like Harry said, it is a very hard challenge to accomplish, but I couldn't do it without the command staff that I have and all the department support, right down to the patrol officers. It starts at the top, but everybody's involved in it, from Captain Irwin to Captain Green, all the lieutenants, all the way down to the bottom of the organization. I'd also like to make a special acknowledgement for Lieutenant Ken Watson. Ken is served as my accreditation manager through the first time, and now he served through the reaccreditation, which, like Harry said, is even harder to keep the standards going. And without Kenny's hard work and dedication of just keeping everything together, keeping the process moving along, keeping sure everybody's meeting their requirements, it's really a challenge for him, and he did an unbelievable job, and I'd just like to acknowledge him for that tonight. Again, I'd like to thank my entire command staff. Captain Irwin's here tonight, Sergeant Padilla's here tonight, and all the other captains and lieutenants that, again, put their heart and dedication into this to make sure it works. Like Harry said, this process is very time-consuming and requires constant review of best practices and standards in law enforcement, but I believe it's well worth it to ensure the residents of this community that they're receiving the best law enforcement services possible. I'd like to take the moment to thank the mayor for your support through the initial accreditation and also through the reaccreditation, because without the support, like Harry said, of the governing body, the mayor, it's hard to accomplish things. Everybody's got to be working together and on the same page, and the mayor has been tremendous with that, whether it's financially, whether it's just support in management of the process. He's always been there, and I thank you for that. In addition, I'd like to thank the entire board, because it's really comforting to work in a community where the entire governing body supports law enforcement, supports the police department, gives us the tools and the resources that we need to continue to keep Nutley safe. And I just want to publicly thank all of you for that. And that's it.
Thank you. And in an ending, what I could tell you about our Board of Commissioners here is they all acknowledge if we don't have safety in our town, we don't have anything. So it's a job well done. Commissioner Scarpelli, would you like to say a comment?
Yeah, I'd just like to say congratulations to everybody who was involved in this process. The rigors that are involved was certainly a credit to you, Chief, and to the mayor and the leadership with the entire department. So congratulations.
Thank you. Commissioner Rogers?
Chief, you had one of the finest law enforcement officers in the state, Harry Delgado, working with you. And Harry and I go way back, and great job. One cannot say enough about Lieutenant Ken Watson. I remember when, right before I retired, and he was given this assignment, boy, did he make sure every dot was, every I was dotted and T was crossed. He took tremendous ownership of that accreditation program. So to you, is he a lieutenant now?
Yep.
Lieutenant Watson, God bless you. Thank you for your good work, and you're next to one of the finest sergeants right there in the PD. Now, and Chief, thank you. You've done a great job. Now let's get to this fellow to my left here. Mayor, I'll tell you what. I know that when you first came on board, you had probably the toughest job in the world, managing a police department. Look how far you have brought this police department. You brought it into the 21st century. You picked the right people to the right job, and look where we are today. So thank you for keeping this community safe. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Rogers. Commissioner Evans?
Chief, it takes leadership at all levels. That includes Commissioner and Mayor of that department, to you, to your men, your officers that are here, and the men that are on the street. I'm proud of you. I congratulate all of you. I sleep better because of you, and I'm thrilled with the fact that none of my grandson is back in town. We are a great, safe town to live in. So, again, thank you to all of you.
Thank you. Commissioner Tucci?
Yes, congratulations first to the mayor and director of the Public Safety Department, and just a little bit of history before I congratulate the chief and the outstanding job that they've done. Several years ago, this entire accreditation program was brought to my attention by the fellows on the Joint Insurance Fund. And they explained how hard it was and how difficult it was and how many departments throughout the state of New Jersey just didn't have the wherewithal, forget about accomplishing what you've accomplished, but even to attempt it. When I brought it to the mayor's attention, all right, and I believe at the time you were just a deputy chief, all right, the two of you together, all right, with people like Lieutenant Watson and the other folks in your department, seized the moment, jumped on it, and just continued right through. You not only make Nutley proud, you make the entire Suburban Essex Joint Insurance Fund proud, and even the next level of insurance throughout the state of New Jersey. And not only are our people safer and is our police department much more professional, but people throughout the country recognize what you've accomplished here. And like Commissioner Evans said, we all sleep better because of you fellas. It's easy to criticize a cop, but when you really need a cop, you're there. Thank you for your service. Thank you for everything you've done, Chief. Thank you again, Mayor. I can't say enough for what you've accomplished and what you continue to accomplish. You have to be the finest police department in the state of New Jersey.
Thank you.
Just before you leave, Commissioner Rogers?
No, I'm always looking up like that, but I want to thank Captain now, Bob Irwin, Uniform Division. You've always done a great job. And there's Anthony Montanari. You're Sergeant Anthony? You've done a great job, and you're the public relations guy now, right? All right, do me a favor. Look into the camera. They're your best friends. The camera's your best friend. Great job. Thank you.
Mayor, on a side note, the award, I just want to clarify, the award that Patrolman Rogers got, that was on a state level of lead. That wasn't just the Nutley Police Department. He was recognized as lead officer throughout the state of New Jersey. So it was a good accomplishment. And while we're speaking on it, I'd like to recognize Detective Sergeant Mike Padilla, because again, Mike is heavily involved in the LEAD program. When we first decided to go to it, Mike was my go-to guy, and I gave it to him, and he ran with it. And as we all know, he's unbelievable with the kids and organizing any activities with them, and he's really taken this program and made it today. So I'd like to thank Mike.
Guys, I just want to congratulate all of you. I don't want to single anyone out, but it's really nice to be sitting in the seat that I do when you have a team and police officers like we have in our public safety department. So, job well done. It's good to be part of that team. Thank you for coming. Okay, we will move along. I see we have reports. Is this a code enforcement?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to take a moment to present to the board a copy of the code enforcement report for the first quarter of 2016.
Thank you. I'll hold that up for the people at home. It's quite a job you did on that, Commissioner. Thank you so much. Okay, we will move on to bills, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mayor. Public Affairs, $167,772.07. Revenue and Finance, $3,198,306.80. Public Safety, $33,689.31. Public Works, $25,697.82. Parks and Public Property, $80,827.85. Total payroll, $768,826.74, for a grand total of $4,275,120.59.
Move the bills.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye, thank you. We'll move on to ordinance introductions, please. Commissioner Evans.
Thank you, Mayor. In accordance with an ordinance to amend an ordinance codified in the Code of the Township of Nutley, Chapter 228, entitled Vehicles and Traffic, particularly Article 7, Special Zones and Areas, Section 29A, entitled Handicap Parking, to add a location set forth herein. I move that this ordinance be passed to a second reading and advertised in the Nutley Sun together with the notice required by law, and that further consideration of said ordinance for final passage by the Board of Commissioners be held at its second reading on May 17th, 2016. So move.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye.
I have the second ordinance introduction, which is an ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank pursuant to NJSA 48:4-45.14. This is a journal entry that we hold in the event at some future date appropriations need to rise greater than the 3% limit, which we are not there this year, so the difference we're allowed to include in a bank. I move that this ordinance be passed to a second reading and advertised in the Nutley Sun together with a notice required by law, and that further consideration of said ordinance for final passage by the Board of Commissioners be held at its second reading on May 17th, 2016. So move.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye. On to resolution now.
Commissioner Evans? are you-
Oh, I'm sorry.
Want to do the budget next?
Oh, I skipped the most important thing. I'm sorry about that. Commissioner Evans.
Thank you for acknowledging that it's the most important thing.
It sure is.
Tonight we're introducing our 2016 budget, and I'm very pleased with the work of the Board of Commissioners to address the range of cost increases that we received this year, and to work very hard to find a way to manage our way through this. We seem to find a way every year to keep managing the tax burden on the taxpayers. What I would say at a very high level, our budget appropriation is increasing $1,052,000. This is a 1.93% increase, which is below the 3% allowable increase that we would be allowed to receive. The bulk of that increase relates to costs that we've received for increase in the cost of sewage for $107,000. The increase in the cost of health insurance, $400,000. The increase in the cost of pensions, $300,000. And that represents the bulk of the challenges that we faced. These aren't normal costs that you can manage each year easily. They are far greater than what you would normally expect to see. They're understandable in that the markets for investment have been very volatile over the last year. Returns had changed, and everyone is experiencing across the state increases in these particular areas. What that means is under the state statutes, we would be allowed to increase our budget 2.8%. That would have produced a $125 increase at the municipal budget level, not the school or the county, just the municipal level, for the average house that's assessed at $316,000. With the work that the commissioners have done together and collectively, and this is how we work together as one team, and the alignment around it is always to do the very best we can for the benefit of Nutley, is to achieve a budget levy increase of $758,000. So we've been able to absorb a portion of those costs. That means that instead of having a 2.8% increase, our budget increase on the levy is 1.99% or 2%. So the popular understanding of the tax laws, the budget laws, basically says 2%. The mechanics of it would actually allow more. This Board of Commissioners did not adhere to that. They said we have to do better. We led the way through that, and everyone cooperated and worked together. This budget also includes state aid. And we did not introduce on May 5th. We were delayed until May 19th because we were continuing to negotiate with the state. And what was really important about that was that our aid, especially for transitional aid light that we received $5.5 million last year. We negotiated to receive that same money again this year, but the state wanted us to just recognize 75% of that. That would have produced a very artificial increase in our budget, which we wanted to avoid. So negotiating through that with the state, we were allowed and given permission to anticipate 100% of the aid that we got last year, which means that we will be able to include in our budget $5,550,000 of transitional aid light. As a reminder, what's so important about that is normally, as a municipal government, we would go down and argue for the municipal tax need. We didn't do that in this case. We recognize that what's going on with the Roche property affects not just the municipal tax, it affects the school tax, it affects the county tax. And recognizing that it's not just a Nutley issue, it's a state issue, we were able to negotiate aid to include 100% of the components of the tax levy. So when a taxpayer looks at their bill and they see the component for counties, school, and municipality, we were able to get state aid to cover all three components of that. That took a lot of hard work and a lot of effort, but what's important about it is it's helping this Board of Commissioners manage its way through a very complex situation with the Roche property. So being able to provide our taxpayers with relief, being able to provide some patience that's so important about the negotiation processes that go on that take so much time, we were able to manage within our means. So tonight, I'm very pleased that we're introducing a budget that recognizes a 2% increase, $758,000 worth of net cost, and the average, that average home out there, wherever it is. I know Commissioner Tucci and I always go back and forth trying to figure out which street it's actually on because we can't find that one house. But that $316,000 home out there will, instead of receiving a $125 increase, will receive a $76 increase. Almost $50 reduction from where we were at our budget workshop a couple of weeks ago. So congratulations to each of my commissioners for working together. I am the messenger because I'm the tax guy, but it's a budget that's being presented by all of us. So we're very proud to introduce our budget tonight. So with that being said, the municipal budget of the Township of Nutley, County of Essex for the fiscal year 2016, be it resolved that the following statements of revenue and appropriations shall constitute the budget for the year 2016. Be it further resolved that said budget be published in the Nutley Sun in the issue of April 28th. The governing body of the Township of Nutley does hereby approve the following budget for the year 2016. So move.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Just before I vote, I just want to make a statement. Tom, thank you so much for all this preparation, and I know you worked very diligently on it. You know, going around town all the time, of our commissioners hear the same thing. Taxes, taxes, taxes. They keep going up. They keep going up. And it's true. They have gone up. But I just want to congratulate all my board members. And it's not a congratulation, and we're not celebrating up here because we always want to do better. But I have to tell you, with all the obstacles that were in our way when we first sat down with Commissioner Evans to kind of proofread this summary of what went on, especially with the Roach property leaving, I have to tell you, you really have 5 people that care up here because the situation could have been much, much worse. So not that we're happy and ecstatic because none of us want to see the taxes go up. But with a crisis that was happening 3 years with the Roach exiting, for us to be able to manage our cost and really tighten our belts and make sure we gave the residents of this township the best end result we can is a tribute to our Commissioner Evans, who leads our Revenue and Finance, but to all our commissioners. So, Commissioner Tucci, thank you for your efforts. You do. Commissioner Rogers, job well done. Commissioner Scarpelli, we appreciate what you do for the outcome of our Nutley residents here. So thank you so much, and I vote aye. Thank you. Okay, now, I believe, and you know what, before I continue, as Ro Costa thinks she's leaving here, getting up to exit, you know, one thing I do really want to do, Ro, is I really want to thank you too, because I have to tell you, people in my department sometimes have some adjectives to put in front of your name at times.
None of which can be put on the record.
I think they're beautiful. She's smiling today, things of that sort. But you know what, Ro? I want to thank you too for the thankless job that you have there to rein everything in and, you know, to watch the taxpayers' dollars as well. As our CFO, you do a wonderful job, and it's good to have people like you in the town, so thank you. Okay, now you may exit. Commissioner Tucci, I think we'll move on to resolutions.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Whereas sealed bids were received for tree removal service on January 7, 2016 in the Township of Nutley, and whereas Dujet's Tree Experts, 54 Notch Road, Woodland Park, New Jersey, was the low bidder for various size trees ranging from 9 to 15 inches all the way up to 36 inches and above, and whereas the Township of Nutley is amending Resolution 4516 to correct and amend a misstatement in that resolution. The contract will be forwarded to the contractor, and whereas the contract is not to exceed $20,000 from account 6-01-512-200 and has been certified by the Chief Financial Officer, said certification being attached to this resolution, now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners, Township of Nutley, County of Essex, State of New Jersey, that a contract for tree removal be awarded to Dujet's Tree Experts. I move the
Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye.
Whereas in 1949, the legislature set aside the last Friday of April as Arbor Day to promote the planting of trees and to encourage the protection of our forests from fires and pests that destroy the beauty and usefulness of our woodlands. And whereas half of New Jersey's total land area is forested or tree covered, and whereas trees play an important role in the ecosystem in which we live, and trees reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil caused by wind and water, clean the air we breathe and the water we drink, produce oxygen, provide habitat for birds and wildlife, and reduce heating and cooling caused by moderating temperature. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper for fine literature, wood for homes, fuel for fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees provide increased property value, enhanced economic viability, and pleasing aesthetic qualities along streets and properties in municipalities. And whereas tree planting in yards and farms and schoolyards and parks and along streets and highways creates an endearing heritage for generations that follow. And whereas the Township of Nutley has completed its 29th year as a member of Tree City USA, and whereas I, Commissioner Mauro Tucci, Director of Parks and Public Property of the Township of Nutley, do hereby proclaim May 7, 2016 as Arbor Day in the community of Nutley, and urge all citizens to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands and to support our town's urban forestry program. And further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden hearts and promote the well-being of present and future generations. I move the resolution.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers? Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Evans?
Aye. Maura, just a comment. Several people, residents have commented to me about the concern over our tree canopy. And so when I see something like this and the work that you've been doing with this program, continuing to build it, that's leading to not only the viability of our town, in beautifying it, but it's also looking at it more from a sustaining value too, sustainability, the green sustainability of our town. So I congratulate you on that. And I also, when I go home tonight, I'll call my sister and let her know that you, and I'm sure she'll be surprised that you picked her birthday, 7th. So I'm sure,
That's why we picked it.
I'm sure she'll be very happy to see that. So I vote aye.
Thank you, Commissioner, and thank you for all your support, and all of the other commissioners and Mayor Petracco, because here in Nutley, and when we read this, it talks about farms. Once upon a time, when we first started reading this resolution, and it was none of us here, we did in fact have farms in Nutley.
It's very true.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Again, Commissioner, job well done. Since I'm a kid here, it's been a little green ball, and I know you have take a big part in that. That's what makes Nutley special to all of us.
Thank you, Mayor.
I vote aye. Is that all you have?
That's all I have.
Okay. I'm just reviewing the rest of this agenda, Council. If there's any commissioners that would like to read these by the rest of the resolutions by title, I'm okay with that because I see some of them are long, so I'll leave that up to the individual. Commissioner Evans.
Thank you, Mayor. The first resolution, Council, if I can paraphrase, it's a resolution to replace a duplicate tax sale certificate. A fee of $100 will be assessed. A copy of the duplicate will be stated with the word, indicated with the words duplicate on it, and it's for Block 8803, Lot 9, certificate number 201453, in the amount of $296.74. I move that resolution.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye.
My next resolution, pursuant to statute 54:3-30, is for Mr. Alexander Martinez, who was granted a full exemption from payment of property taxes, who also received a homestead rebate that needs to be refunded because it's an extra credit on his account in the amount of $966.58. I move that resolution.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers? Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye.
My next resolution and final resolution is a contract with Impact Environmental, who is doing environmental testing on the properties known as the Davis Bike Shop as well as the Ciccolini property as we continue to do our investigative work and due diligence prior to those purchases. The contract does not exceed $17,500. The money is available for it in account 601-226-205, and that this further directs the mayor and the clerk to enter into a contract for those services. I move this resolution.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye. Thank you so much, Commissioner Evans. Commissioner Scarpelli?
Whereas bids for the New Jersey Department of Transportation Safe Routes to School programs for the Township of Nutley were received and opened on Wednesday, March 2nd, 2016. Whereas AJM Contractors, 300 Color Road, Clifton, New Jersey, was the low bidder. Now therefore be resolved by the Board of Commissioners, Township of Nutley, County of Essex, State of New Jersey, that a contract be awarded to AJM Contracting in the amount not to exceed $319,634, and that the mayor and township clerk are hereby authorized to enter into and sign said contract for the Township of Nutley, subject to the final approval and funding by the New Jersey Department of Transportation. Resolution.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye.
Whereas bids for the 2016 purchase of asphalt material for the Township of Nutley were received and opened on Thursday, April 7, 2016. Whereas Newark Asphalt Corp., foot of Passaic Street, Newark, New Jersey, 07104, was a low bidder. Now therefore be resolved by the Board of Commissioners, Township of Nutley, County of Essex, State of New Jersey, that a contract be awarded to Newark Asphalt for the bid amount not to exceed $45,000, and that the mayor and township clerk are hereby authorized to enter into and sign said contract for the Township of Nutley. Move the resolution.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye.
This is a water utility agreement between the Township of Nutley and the Township of Bloomfield for the construction by Bloomfield of an 8-inch water main and interconnection within the public right-of-way of the Township of Nutley, located at Watchung Place, Carlton Terrace, and Bromley Place. Now, therefore, be resolved by the Board of Commissioners, Township of Nutley, that the mayor and the Township of Nutley is hereby authorized to execute on behalf of the Township of Nutley a water utility agreement between the Township of Bloomfield and the Township of Nutley for the construction of an 8-inch water main and interconnection with the public right-of-way of the Township of Nutley, located at Watchung Place, Carlton Terrace, and Bromley Place. Move the resolution.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye.
Go ahead, Mayor.
Thank you so much. I'm going to read my by title. Be resolved by the Board of Commissioners, Township of Nutley, County of Essex, that the clerk be and she is hereby authorized for sealed bids for the Nutley Police Crossing Guard uniforms. Move resolution number 108-16.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye, this is resolution 109-16. It's for a raffle application for Belleville Crew and Lincoln School. Now, therefore, it be resolved by the Board of Commissioners, Township of Nutley, County of Essex, that the aforementioned licenses are approved and the municipal clerk is authorized to issue the license. Move the resolution.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye, thank you so much. That concludes our business portion of the meeting. Is there anyone here this evening that would like to address the Board of Commissioners?
Terry Quirk, 45 Hampton Place, spokesperson for the Nutley Parent Advocacy Network. I have a question, I guess, for Commissioner Scarpelli in regards to the safe routes to school. Can you please explain that?
This is it's been ongoing for 2 years. We received a grant from the Department of Transportation through the United States Department of Transportation. So it's a federal grant administered by the state. We've gone back and forth between the two bureaucracies for over 2 years. and it's for safety measures at all of the elementary schools. So there'll be sidewalks at the back of Washington School that will be installed. There will be crosswalks that will be enhanced at Spring Garden, Yannicott, and Lincoln. And at Ratcliffe School, there will be an enhancement to the traffic signal.
Oh, okay. So that includes these amounts, 61,000, the 175,000, that includes all of those amounts for those areas? Does it include anything in regards to the lighted traffic signs that you
we're
have?
going to light, not everywhere, but we're going to light those crosswalks, yes. Like similar to the ones that we have, that Commissioner Petracco purchased and we installed at Washington School and at McKinley Street and Washington Avenue.
Okay. Anything for Lincoln? Around like Harrison and Crestwood?
Right. No, not Crestwood, but Harrison at the top of Spring Street.
Oh, okay. I have another question in regard to the Pedestrian Safety Education and Enforcement Fund. I just want to know, we have $16,000, or it was approved for $16,000, and what does that include?
Well, what we do through the police department is we use that money just for crosswalk enforcement and things of that sort. What we do also, just so you're aware of it, is we partner up with the county, and we have the county actually come in here. And it's been one of the biggest complaints that I've received in the police department are these crosswalks, how no one stops. We had a campaign last month that there was almost 100 tickets issued in 1 week. The problem is that when it seems like when the cops, thank you, Eleni, it seems like that when the cops leave those areas, people go back to their own habits. So I urge, and I've been beating this drum for the last 8 years, I urge people to please slow down while driving through town and please stop at these crosswalks. I've instructed the cops, from Chief Strumel all the way down to the police officers. I don't care if it's someone I know, if it's my brother, my sons, whoever it might be. I want everybody to issue tickets because it's getting out of hand in Nutley. We had that incident on Center Street not too long ago. When something like that happens, I take that very personal, being in charge of the Department of Public Safety. So, that goes to a lot of enforcement, which we are really, really ramping up. I don't know if you've seen by Yannicott School, we've put our speed signs up. We did a lot of enforcement there. I was getting a lot of complaints from there. And I have to tell you, when we start issuing the tickets, guess who the people are getting the violations? The parents dropping off their kids. It's the people that live in those areas. It's not outsiders coming through town, speeding through, our towns. And not just to pick on Passaic Avenue, but it's all of the township of Nutley. So we really have to police ourselves because, the safety of our treasures, our children, are at stake here. So I urge all the residents to please slow down.
I've noticed in other towns they have like rumble strips specifically around the school areas. Have you considered something like that?
I know that Commissioner Evans probably could answer that. That goes through our traffic safety. Jack, if you want me to shut up, Jack Barry has looked into those things. I've seen them in other towns. A lot of the answers that we receive, they have to be approved by DOT. And a lot of our roadways don't meet that compliance. It's very frustrating to us that we would like to put speed bumps on 1 million streets. I can't tell you over the last 8 years how many people have come, to us and worked on it, and it's very frustrating to us as well that there's certain streets that we just can't do anything about. As far as the speed bumps or those rumble strips, but we do continue to fight that battle.
And I just have one more question in regards to Partners for Health Grant, the pedestrian education. It was approved $6,500. What is that exactly?
Partners to Health Grant.
What we do is we have a program set up where we're educating people on how to walk on the street or in the streets, on the sidewalks. One big program that has been started as a result of that is the Anarcho Walks. And hopefully we're going to expand that to every school. What we did was, and what we continue to do, is parents will walk their children to school. And I got to tell you, I got an education one day. When we were walking with children to school, to Yannico School from Cambridge, and by the way, part of your grant helped pay for this crossing guard on Washington Avenue, and we hope to have that permanent one day. Here's something very interesting. There are some streets without sidewalks, so the children have to walk in the street. One thing I learned, that as we were walking in the street, people were backing out of their driveways, not looking. And children, you know, they're not going to look all over the place. So we're walking down some of these side streets, and lo and behold, you know what? People aren't looking, and, you know, there could be a tragedy. So that's part of the Partners for Health Education program. Hopefully we're going to be able to, as time goes on.
Okay. I just have one more question. I happen to have to go to the high school a couple of times in 1 week, and at both times I had to park across the street on Franklin, and I had to cross the street at New Street and Franklin, and I couldn't, because people were stopping on one side and they were just barreling through. It just so happened that there was a police officer parked right next to Carvel, and he happened to witness some person just come right past the crosswalk while I was in it, and he stopped him. But my concern is, our kids do come out of that high school. They have these lunch hours where it's a little different. There might be 4 lunch periods. They go out, and that particular crosswalk is really dangerous because nobody stops for that particular one. I guess they're speeding up.
I have to tell you, the enforcement has been really uplifted. I don't know how much more I could do as far as enforcement, but I keep saying this on the mic as far as that we have, you know, I don't know how to teach people manners. I mean, incredible.
The culture, and I think we have to fight.
I've seen it myself. I was in a police car just the other day, and I mean, right in front of a cop car, a guy blows through there, and we spin around, you know, and the officer got out of the car and issued him a summons. It's ridiculous that even in front of a police officer, there's just no regard to it. So, you know, we don't quit, Tara.
No,
we don't quit.
I know, Mr.
We
Mayor.
keep going, and we keep, you know, trying to get there where we keep working it and working on it and working on education, work on enforcement, and hopefully that we could be a town. And I've said this in front of the Board of Commissioners many times. I spent a lot of time in Morristown. It's unbelievable. Somebody steps off the curb, they slam on their brakes.
Exactly.
It's incredible. And, you know, why can't we have that here in Nutley? So one way or another, it's either going to be people are going to stop or people are going to get tickets. And I have to tell you, it's not a cheap ticket. And I'll say this on, you know, our municipal TV land. If somebody gets a ticket and they're a friend of mine for pedestrian crosswalk, please don't call me because I am not willing to do one thing for you. That's how serious it is.
I agree. Just getting back to Commissioner Scarpelli. So we're going to be getting some lighted traffic signs like the ones down in Washington? And where will they be again? Okay. All right, thank you.
Hey, Tara, before you sit down, I just want to, and I know we all want to get out of here tonight, I just want to thank you for the work that you do for NPAN. And I have to tell you, I really see, I have a second grader in Spring Garden School that was having difficulty reading. The leaps and bounds that those people made for my son, these teachers that we have there, was second to none. I know that you had a lot to, you know, do that in the past as an advocate, but I have to tell you, under Helen Marino, and, you know, and I'm sorry I don't remember the girls' names that my son actually has, it's incredible how they have inspired my son to read. So, again, a good shout out to the teachers, unbelievable job that they're doing, and thank you for all your hard work at NPAN. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else this evening that would like to address the Board of Commissioners?
Claire Zemplich, 150 Ridge Road. Commissioner Scarpelli, I know we were monitoring traffic on Ridge Road, I think sometime in early January or February. There were, outside of my house, there were...
Actually, that would be Commissioners. Evans traffic safety
Traffic
with Jack
safety.
Barry.
Commissioner Evans, can you tell me any information? I literally had drag racers on Ridge Road 2 days after Christmas that were going about 90 miles an hour. So I just wonder what we do with the data that we collect, and is there any way that we can have something where automatic tickets potentially get offered for people that are speeding on some of the roads in town that have 25-mile-an-hour speed limits?
Sure. The work that Jack Barry does is to monitor and study that. If there's anything that's needed from the state or things like that, he will go after. The data that he collects is supplied to the police department so that they can monitor those activities and then arrange whatever enforcement is required. If there's something that needs to be there to create a more visual presence because of signage or things like that, Jack will investigate that. That's basically what he does. As it relates specifically to your question, I don't have an answer for you right now, but I will follow.
And I just wanted to say that I just came from the Anacostia PTO meeting where, again, there are 2 schools that we know are already at probably 4 kindergarten classes entering in the 2016-2017 school year. We also see across town building in the places that impact these 2 particular schools, and we can fool ourselves into believing that 1- and 2-bedroom apartments are not impacting the enrollment in the schools, but I don't think that that's the case. We're at capacity, and I don't know what we're going to do. We're all starting to wonder what we're going to do, and we're at least 2 years away from any building that could happen if the referendum passes. So I would just encourage all of you to really start taking into account what our infrastructure is, and I know we're working towards solutions, but they may not be fast enough.
Thank you. Is there anyone else this evening that would like to address the Board of Commissioners? Good
Hello,
evening.
I'm Jamie Molinaro, and on behalf of...
We need your address.
Oh, sorry, 214 Stratford Drive.
Thank you so much.
Just wanted to say thank you to all of you for approving our Speakeasy fundraiser on behalf of the Historic Restoration Trust, which is going to be on June 4th, and we certainly hope to see all of you there. Thank you.
You waited all that time to invite us. That was very nice of you.
Well, I hope you can make it.
We will. Being you sat through there, Sam, please put that on my calendar. If I'm reelected, I'll be there.
Awesome. I told you. We work together here. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Greengrove, too. Okay, is there anyone else that would like to address the Board of Commissioners?
Penny Landry, 135 Lakeside Drive. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for your 4 years of service, and I wish each of you good luck in the upcoming election. Spent a lot of time with you in the past 4 years, so I just wanted to say thank you and good luck. I'm also up here to make a third request, so maybe this time. Mayor, as I understand it, part of your job as mayor is to oversee the meetings. Our meeting notices say that the meeting starts at 7 o'clock. That meeting starts in the back room. The official meeting starts at 7, and yet the minutes begin once the meeting comes out here, which I think is against the Open Public Meetings Act, and I am looking into that because the minutes need to start at the time that is advertised as the start of the meeting, which is 7 o'clock. I missed the last meeting and read the minutes from a couple
Counsel,
of meetings.
what's the answer to that question? That's actually a pretty good question. Counsel? I am. Thank you.
We are not in violation of the rule. Why we changed the notice?
The notice said 7 p.m.
Conference meeting. We're not.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm making the request because 2 weeks ago there was a presentation which I'm sure the citizens who were unable to come would have loved to have seen, which is about the new parking meters. Unfortunately, it was not recorded, so only the commissioners got to see the parking meter presentation and
You know
not
what?
the citizens.
I think that's a good point that you raised. And I think that...
Well, I've
if we-
raised it for 2
Yeah.
years, and nothing's
Okay.
happened, so...
Well, you know what, I remember in the parking, that was, which one? The parking meter.
Right, and then tonight...
And I have to tell you, I think that was a great presentation. So I think that we should have a talk about that, through the commissioners.
Well, wait, this is my...
Sometimes, in here, without the audio-visual equipment that's necessary, it's very difficult to do a presentation here.
Wait, it's not difficult, excuse me, because there have been many presentations, including the Roche presentation here. And I would also like to thank whoever is responsible for fixing the mics, because they appear to be working for the first time in a long time.
That would be Commissioner Tucci, I think.
Thank you, Commissioner Tucci. Much appreciated. It is not difficult because many presentations...
We'll disagree on that.
Okay, all right. It's very simple. The planning board has them, even though those aren't recorded. So there were 2 presentations for things that would have been beneficial for the citizens to see. One tonight on your reminder app, and the other on the parking meters. So all I'm asking for the 3rd or 4th time, Mayor, is that the presentations that would be beneficial to the citizens, the taxpaying citizens, for programs that you're introducing and bringing to us, that those presentations are done so that they can be recorded. They can be included in the minutes.
I understand. Let me just speak. I understand your request.
Third one.
Third one. I think I understand it fully this time.
Thank you.
And I think that I want to look into what we have to do to bring those presentations out there, because myself, and I won't speak for the board, don't necessarily disagree with you that they're good presentations. Why not let the public see them? So I will look into that. What's your next question, Ms. Landry?
Thank you. 4th request, I spoke with an Economic Development Advisory Committee member this week, and they said that there was a meeting a couple of weeks ago. So I'm making my 4th request for the taxpaying citizens and the business owners of Nutley that the Economic Development Advisory Committee meetings of the Township of Nutley be open to the public for not participation, just for information, to be able to sit in to our Economic Development Advisory Committee meetings, and that the minutes of these meetings, as Commissioner Evans said, by law he is not required to have minutes, but he provides them as a courtesy to the committee members. Well, I would like the township, as a courtesy to the taxpayers of Nutley and to the business owners of Nutley, to make those minutes available on the township website without them having to be Oprah'd.
Thank you.
That's the second request.
Thank you.
And a final note that while there is only a $76 per household, $315,000 value, there is still a tax increase this year. For how many years in a row have the taxes increased? Does anyone know? Commissioner Evans?
Pretty much every year.
Every year we've had a tax increase. For how many years?
13 that I know of.
13 years. So for 13 years in a row, the citizens of Nutley every year have had a tax increase. It's time for us to figure out how to stop having property tax increases in Nutley. Thank you.
Thank you for coming, Ms. Landry. Is there anyone else this evening that would like to address the Board of Commissioners?
Mayor, I have one clarification.
Yes.
Mrs. Quirk, I want to clarify something. The grant, the Partners for Health grant for 2014 was used for Yannicka Walks. This particular grant was used for the PACE car program that we put together. I want to make sure you got the right info. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. We need a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye. Thank you for coming.
And the time is now 9:05.